Dear students, welcome back. Now we are going to see the transverse section of this thoracic cavity. Here you can see, so this is the anterior aspect and this one is the posterior aspect. So this is the lungs and this is the wall of the thorax. So this is here you can have the sternum and here you'll have the vertebra here. And the space present in between them is the mediastinum. So this mediastinum anteriorly it occupies heart. So this is below the level of fourth thoracic vertebrae. Up to thoracic vertebrae we'll have the trachea is present actually. So here you'll have in this space, in the mediastinal space, just go and revise that inlet. So at the lower part, that is below the level of fourth thoracic vertebrae, you'll have the heart here, and another opening called the main opening called as esophagus. Okay, and then aorta. Most posteriorly aorta is present, and trachea is present at up to the level of fourth thoracic vertebra. After that we can't see the trachea here. Okay, so these are the structures, and also many other structures are also present. These are the main structures which are present in the mediastinum. Here also we can, this is the transverse section here, this is the transverse section. So this is the wall, this is the outer layer is the wall, and this one is the lungs. Okay, and here this is the root of the lung. So the root of the lung, near the lung it is covered by the visceral layer, and then next one is the parietal layer. Okay, so we have already seen some of the reflections of the parietal pleura. This one is the costal pleura here. We can see the costal pleura here. And this one is the mediastinal pleura. This side is the mediastinal pleura. Okay. And this one is the costal pleura. This is mediastinal pleura. In the case of longitudinal section, you can see this diaphragmatic pleura and the costal pleura. On the anterior side, you can see the costal pleura and the mediastinal pleura. Okay, so that is the difference here. Now we can see here the mediastinal pleura. So this is the mediastinal pleura which covers the mediastinal space. And coming to the recesses, there are two recesses. One is the costodiaphragmatic recesses we have seen in the earlier video. Now here comes the mediastinal pleura. So this one is the mediastinal. I have already told that this is the anterior aspect. The costomediastinal recess lies anteriorly behind the sternum. Here you will have the sternum, behind the sternum and the costal cartilages, between the costal, this one is the costal pleura, costal and mediastinal pleura, particularly in relation to the cardiac notch. So on the left side, normally, so we have seen some fissures, isn't it? Only three fissures in the right side, two fissures on the right side dividing the right lobe into three, whereas the left is having only one fissure dividing into two lobes. That commonly occurs at the because of the presence of cardiac notch on the left lung. It doesn't have horizontal fissure there. So particularly in the relation to the cardiac notch of the left lung, the costomediastinal recess anteriorly behind the sternum and costal cartilages between the costal and mediastinal pleura, particularly in relation to the cardiac notch of the left lung. So this is the transverse section. Go to the coronal section again. So in the coronal section, what is happening? So this pleurae, which is present anteriorly, means, so on the anterior aspect of the lung is also covered by this uh, pleura. So that is called as costal pleura, is covering anteriorly, laterally, as well as the posterior. So all the three sides are covered by the costal pleura. Okay, and below the lungs, so that is the base of the lungs is covered by the diaphragmatic pleura, and the apex is covered by the cervical pleura, and the remaining thing is costal pleura from anterior, lateral, and posterior. On the medial aspect of the lung, it belongs to the mediastinal pleura. Okay, so on the anterior side, so anterior, it is formed by the costal pleura and the mediastinal pleura. Okay, so this also helps uh, during this also helps during breathing, during inspiration. So what will happen, the lung is expanding anteriorly, so it gives some space here, so anteriorly by this mediastinal pleura. Okay, this recesses is possibly filled up by the anterior margin of the lung, even during quiet breathing. In quiet breathing also, the anterior margin of the lung is uh, covered covered on the cardiac notch. Okay, so this is about the mediastinal pleura. Simply we can say this mediastinal pleura is formed between the costal pleura, parietal pleura, and the mediastinal parietal pleura. Okay, so especially it is very much related to the cardiac notch of the left lung. This recess, this space is possibly filled up by the anterior margin of the lung. So this is the anterior margin of the lung. Even during quiet breathing, that means it helps. So this space helps or gives space the expansion of the anterior side of the lung during normal breathing also. So whereas the costodiaphragmatic, in forced inspiration or during forced respiration, that space helps in the expansion of the, gives some space to the expansion of the lungs. So this is about the recesses of the pleura. And coming to the nerve supply of the pleura, the parietal pleura develops from the, actually, in the embryology, some terms like mesoderm, ectoderm, and the endoderm. So this parietal pleura develops from the lateral plate of the mesoderm. In that lateral plate of the mesoderm, it is having one layer called somatopleuric layer. So somatopleuric layer of the lateral plate of the mesoderm. So the parietal layer develops from the somatopleuric layer of the lateral plate of the mesoderm, and it is supplied by the somatic nerves, that is called body wall. So the parietal layer is supplied by the phrenic nerves and the intercostal nerves. The parietal layer is supplied by intercostal and phrenic nerves, and this layer is pain sensitive. This layer is pain sensitive. Okay, and the costal and the peripheral parts of the diaphragmatic pleura, the costal and peripheral part of the diaphragmatic pleura are supplied by this intercostal nerves. And also the mediastinal pleura, so this mediastinal pleura and the central part of the diaphragmatic pleura. So if you can see in the coronal section, you'll have so this pleura is present like a diaphragmatic pleura. So at the center part of the pleura, diaphragmatic pleura, and the mediastinum pleura are supplied by phrenic nerves, the phrenic nerves which are coming uh, from the upper parts. So that is supplied by the phrenic nerves. So again we will see, normally the parietal pleura is originating from somatopleuric layer of the lateral plate of the mesoderm, and it is supplied by the somatic nerves. So these are intercostal nerves and phrenic nerves. The parietal pleura is pain sensitive. The costal, so this is the costal part, and the peripheral parts. So this is the diaphragmatic. So this becomes the peripheral part and this becomes the central part. So the peripheral part and the costal part are supplied by the intercostal nerves, whereas the central part of the diaphragmatic pleura and the mediastinal part are supplied by the phrenic nerves. Coming to the pulmonary pleura, this pulmonary pleura develops from the splanchno-pleuric layer. So parietal is somatopleuric layer, whereas the pulmonary one is developed from splanchno-pleuric layer of the lateral plate of the mesoderm. So that we are going to see in embryology. So just remember that these two layers are originating from different layers of the lateral plate of mesoderm. One is the somatopleuric, that is parietal layer, and splanchno-pleuric, that is pulmonary pleura. And this pulmonary pleura is supplied by the autonomic nerves, that is called sympathetic nerves, which are derived from spinal segments T4 and T5, and also accompanied with bronchial vessels, and these are also accompanied with bronchial vessels. This layer is not sensitive to pain. This is insensitive to the pain. This layer is insensitive to the pain, but the parietal layer is very sensitive to the pain. So because those are very much innervated by different nerves, so that layer is pain sensitive. Coming to the blood supply and the lymphatic drainage, the parietal pleura is a part and parcel of the thoracic wall. So its blood supply and lymphatic drainage is same as that of the thoracic wall. So the blood supply is done by intercostal vessels, that is intercostal arteries, and internal thoracic artery on the anterior aspect, and also musculophrenic arteries on the lower below the sixth intercostal spaces, and the veins drain mostly into the azygos vein, that is the posterior aspect. The veins, intercostal veins, are drained into the azygos vein, and also internal thoracic veins on the anterior aspect. And coming to the lymphatics drain into intercostal, so intercostal and internal mammary. So this internal mammary internodes are present from second to fourth intercostal spaces, and internal that is internal mammary, intercostal lymph nodes, and also in the mediastinum also some lymph nodes are present, that is called mediastinal lymph nodes. And coming to the diaphragm, so near the diaphragm also it is having some lymph nodes on the surface of the diaphragm, that is called diaphragmatic lymph nodes. All these lymph nodes drain the lymphatics. So the pulmonary pleura, like the lung, is supplied by the bronchial arteries. These are supplied. Lung and the Pulmonary pleura are supplied by the bronchial arteries, and these are drained into bronchopulmonary lymph nodes. This is about the nerve supply and blood supply to the pleura. And coming to the applied anatomy, so we have studied in the previous video, that is the costodiaphragmatic recesses, isn't it? So that one. So that is the space where the first any fluid or anything air or any pus is getting accumulated at this space, isn't it? So the aspiration of any fluid from the pleural cavity, aspiration means we are taking the fluid which is accumulated in the pleural space, so that is called aspiration. We will using a syringe and needle here. Okay, that process is called as by passing a needle, okay, by syringe at this space, and we are aspiring this fluid out of this space. Okay, so that process is called as paracentesis thoracis. That process is called paracentesis thoracis. It is usually done in sixth intercostal space. It usually done in sixth intercostal space in the mid axillary line. The needle is passed through the lower part of the space. So as we know that in the intercostal spaces, so two ribs, so at the upper part we will have this vascular bundle, vein, artery and nerve. So the needle should not pass at the upper part, so it has to needle has to send in the lower part to avoid injury to the neurovascular bundle. Okay, so this is about the applied anatomy, that is called aspiration of fluid from the pleural cavity is called as paracentesis thoracis. And also I have already explained some clinical conditions associated with pleura called as pleurisy, that is the inflammation of the pleura. So that means normally it contains some thin fluid of thin film of pleural fluid is present. Sometimes it becomes dry, or sometimes it often collected by any fluid called as pleural effusion, that is called as pleurisy. If presence of air in the pleural cavity is called as pneumothorax. Presence of blood in the pleural cavity is called as hemothorax. Sometimes both fluid and air is present, then it is called as hydropneumothorax. Only pus is present in the pleural cavity, such condition is called as empyema. Okay, this is about the thoracic cavity and the pleura. In the next session we are going to study the lungs. Thank you.